actually comes from my cousin David Reichland, who's a professor of anthropology at the University of Arizona in Tucson. I find it absolutely extraordinary in my family that, you know, there's not one but two Reichlands who have kind of found this passion for barbecue. Chocolate may seem like a strange flavoring for pork ribs, but centuries ago the Aztecs combined it with chiles to make sauces and even hot chocolate. The combination lives on today in Oaxaca's famous mole. That's the inspiration of our next dish, Cousin Dave's Chocolate Chipotle Baby Backs. And it all starts with the most tender and best marbled cut of all, the baby back rib. Now, the baby back is actually cut from right next to the backbone. We have a saying, high on the hog. Generally, the cuts of meat that came highest up on the hog were the most tender and the best marbled. The first thing you want to do is remove the membrane. Technically, it's called the pleura. Many times when you buy ribs, it will be removed, but if not, simply pry it off with your instant read meat thermometer. These ribs, in fact, have had the membranes removed. Step number 2, the marinade. The marinade starts with finely chopped onion and canned chipotle chiles, 1 for baby hot, 2 for medium hot, 3 for wicked hot, and 4 for the ultimate primal grill hot. Chipotles are smoked jalapeno chilies, and by the way, they come available both dried and canned. This is one of the rare instances where I actually prefer a canned food because the chilies come in a spicy sauce called adobo. Next, add finely chopped garlic and chopped fresh cilantro. And hold back a little bit for garnish. And Mexican chocolate or bittersweet chocolate, finely chopped. Next, add lemon zest, that's the oil-rich outer rind. Remove it with a vegetable peeler. And brown sugar, chili powder, salt, lemon pepper, and a little bit of vegetable oil. We are not talking here about a mild-mannered seasoning. Puree these ingredients to a paste, which might be described as liquid hellfire. Now take your chocolate chile marinade and spread it over the ribs on both sides. So who is Cousin Dave? He's the other barbecue Reichland. Actually, by day, he is an anthropology professor who teaches just up the road at the University of Arizona in Tucson. He put himself through graduate school by catering barbecue events. Marinate the ribs in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours or as long as overnight. There are 2 things you need to know about before we fire up the smoker. First of all, your chimney starter. Use this for lighting the charcoal. I have natural lump charcoal here. You can see it actually began as a tree. And the way the chimney works is you place either a piece of crumpled newspaper or a paraffin fire starter underneath the chimney. Obviously, this would be in the smoker. Light it, and in 20 minutes you'll have glowing coals. The advantage of using a chimney is that the metal shape funnels the heat upward, so the coals light uniformly. Second step, I have some oak wood that I've soaked for about an hour in beer. Now the smoker. This type of smoker is called a water smoker. The bottom piece is the fire chamber. So what you do is dump out your lit charcoal. Next, put in place the actual smoke chamber. It's a cylindrical piece that fits like this. And what I'll do is I'll open this door here so you can see what I'm doing. Now, the reason it's called a water smoker is you place a large water bowl in the center of the smoker, and you actually fill it with water. Or once again, You can use beer. The first cooking rack goes right over the water pan, and the second rack goes at the top of the smoking chamber. Let me get the ribs. When you put the ribs on, always make sure the concave side, the rounded side, is up. That way, as the ribs cook, the melting fat will baste the meat. Now, I also have a batch of charros, Mexican barbecued pinto beans. The recipe is on our website. We'll smoke the beans as well. Take a couple of your soaked wood chunks and place them on the coals. And when you do so, don't drop them from up high because you'll stir up ash. You actually want to lower the chunks right on the coals. Then close the door and place the lid on the smoker and adjust the vent holes, open at the top, open at the bottom, to obtain a temperature of about 250 degrees. Cooking time for these ribs, about 3 to 4 hours. If it gets too hot, just simply close these vent holes a little bit. And what you'll need to do every hour is replenish the charcoal in the wood, opening up this door to do so. Fast forward 4 hours and check out these ribs. So how do you know when your baby backs are cooked? Well, baby backs come with what I call a pop-up thermometer. That is when the meat has shrunk back by about 1/4 of an inch from the end of the bone. The other test, of course, would be to try and tear the rib apart, and it should come apart easily. Ribs should not fall off the bone. A fall off the bone rib has likely been boiled, and that to me is barbecue heresy. Cut them into 2 bone portions and take a look. Do you see this reddish pink subcutaneous layer? The pros call that the smoke ring. I call it the red badge of honor. When you smoke your ribs properly, this is the result. So you can see these ribs are tender but not soft. A good rib should have a little chew to it. That's why God gave you teeth. Now for the charros. They smell incredibly fragrant. So let's see how we did. This is bliss on a bone. From David Reichlin to Stephen Reichlin to you, it's Cousin Dave's Chipotle Chocolate Baby Back Ribs. I'm a great fan of smoke roasted desserts. The smoky flavor